Hello. Okay, so this microphone works, everyone, but it fell over on my desk a week or so ago, and now I'm a little bit worried that it's crackly, you know? So yeah, that's where we're at. Hi, everyone. I got my little tiny mic here, and please do let me know if the audio is off at all. But hello, everyone. Monique Renee here, a photographer at Silver Paw Studio, and you are in the green room. Mondays, I go live here at 1 p.m. Mountain. Hey, Frank. Hey, William. Let me know if this is crackly at all. I tried to use my headset, but I don't have the microphone configured for YouTube Live yet. I don't know. It goes back and forth. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to the green room. Welcome to this YouTube live show I've been doing every Monday. And one of the things that I want to talk to y'all about today is if you want me to continue the live stream every Monday. Gosh, it's hot here today. Wow. So a couple of things. This is just going to be a Q&A today, so you can ask me different things. Oh, thank you, William. You can ask me about pet photography, the art, the craft, the business side, whatever you want to talk about there. You can ask me about my dog, Bailey. Things like that, Colorado, whatever you want. Patty, you made it. How fantastic. Welcome. So Q&A day today, and I have some random thoughts for y'all. Would you like it if I went live once a month, but it was longer and more of a Q&A? Or do you like these little 15-minute once a week live streams where I usually come up with a topic? My other thought, oh, you like it, Frank? Okay. My other thought is to have a produced once a week, little short, less than 10-minute, my thoughts, kind of like we talk about on here. It's a lot more work for me to do that. So I kind of like just going live. Some of you might know that I used to go live. I've gone live many years on Periscope and Facebook and Instagram, all the places, right? So I really do like it. And once a week works for you. Okay. One of the things is here on YouTube, there is a community tab, but I can't access the community tab until I have like 1,000 followers, and it's just a slow build. But I really want this community to come together. So I feel like doing a live stream is the way to go. Okay. Oh my gosh. We have like 3 votes to keep going with the Monday lives. Okay. Once a week, like the current format, like the live. I've got my live comments here on the side. Awesome. Okay. Well, then I'll just keep going. My ultimate plan, well, my original plan when starting this Monday live stream was Mondays is the day that I go to the shelters. And so I thought it would be nice to chit chat with you all, and you can walk through my editing process on the shelter animals when I got back. And obviously I'm not at the shelters yet. So eventually we'll be doing that. We can chit chat about whatever you want. We can do these AMAs, Q&As. We can go through my process. There's all kinds of things I can talk to you about live. So that's kind of fun. Patty, okay, everyone likes the live. Super duper. And so at some point we'll have my other screen where I can kind of screen share and show you a little bit about what I'm doing. We can do all kinds of different things with that. But my first thought was editing. Yeah. Okay. So Patty, you're doing the same thing. Your area is the same. So our shelter is still closed to volunteers as well. So Frank Goss on here is also a pet photographer here in Colorado, and we often team up. You've probably seen him on my produced shows at the cat shelter. It used to be a separate entity, but they're all together. And we would photograph the cats, but they're still working on a way to open it up for volunteers to come back. So number one, no volunteers yet. And Patty, get this. Can you believe this? I talked to the shelter the other day, and the animals are getting adopted so quickly that they, like puppies, they won't even post them on the website anymore because it's not worth the time because they're basically adopted before they're ever officially ready to go. I mean, like they're adopted when they're ready to go, but people kind of know the foster people taking care of the puppies and the kittens. So the word gets out and people put a hold on these puppies and kittens. Not only that, Patty and William, I don't know if it's the same in the states that you're in. Kittens are going like crazy. Adult cats, dogs of all ages, sizes, everything. Everybody's adopting animals here, which is amazing, which is a concern for some of the dog trainers that I know. honestly. But really, what's kind of nice is that they don't really need me right now for some of those long-term, hard to adopt animals. So, like Frank and I both work at Animal Friends Alliance, and they are, I think they call themselves an adoption guarantee. So these animals could be in foster for months or years until they find just the right home, or they're rehabilitated after injury or accident, or maybe they have some other training issues that need to go to. So anyway, so sometimes they have these animals that have been around a long time, and those are ones that we want to feature in some of our photos, right, Frank? So they don't have any right now. I had another project I was working on, and I said, hey, I'd love to um, like showcase one of your long-term adoptables, and they said we just don't have any. So they've given me some other ideas on how to help. Patty, same here. I think people being at home are lonely and decided to adopt. I mean, it sounds awesome. I hope, so that's so great. I'm glad that they're getting those animals adopted. I hope it's a long-term situation, because I know a lot of people were only home for like a few weeks. And so when they go back to work, I hope they're thinking about separation anxiety and getting them around other dogs. I know, Frank, your dog goes to, well, I think his toe is injured right now. Your dog goes to Doggy Daycare, and they have opened back up here. So socialization of these dogs is so important. So I'm hoping all these animals do well long term in these homes, because that's amazing. That's the whole point. Like, we want to go out of business in like the shelters. Eventually, that's what they love. Oregon's slogan used to be end petlessness, and we just want all of them to be adopted. Yeah, right, Patty. Yeah, kittens and puppies almost don't need photos. I know, Frank. And Frank and I have run into this at the shelters here all forever. It's like, people want the puppies and kittens. We're a high adoption area. We're very pet friendly. Lots of, like, you could take your dog to the breweries during normal times, that kind of thing. So we already have pretty high adoption rates, and for puppies and kittens. And now we have an open intake on the dog side of the organization I work with. And so they're finding that there are sometimes random litters of puppies, which we hadn't anticipated, but they are getting adopted very quickly. Yeah, it is a good problem. And so what's really nice is that I reached out to that shelter, and they sent me back some ideas on how I can help. So maybe they have like some new merchandise they need photographed, t-shirts and things like that. I said, sure, I'll take that to the studio and photograph them. They have another project they're working on, so I'm not sure how to help with that, like a kitten growth chart type of thing. And there's other ways that I can help support. So it's a different world right now. I mean, I'm sure we will go back to a time where, you have to have those photos, because the houses will be full of pets that want them right now. And then people who are ready to get pets later, how the whole system and the cycle goes, right? So it's a strange time. I miss photographing all the animals at the shelters for sure, and seeing the people that work at the shelters. But, if they're getting adopted, that's the whole point. So I'm very glad for that. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot my water. Oh well, I'll be fine. I have the AC on. It's supposed to be 90 today. I already took Bay for a walk. Bah. What else? Yeah, I know, Patty, right? What else we got going on, everyone? What questions do you have for me? What are you struggling with right now? Right? I know. Luckily, Patty, I am kind of Facebook friends with a lot of the staff of the places. And so I can kind of still keep up with them through that way. But I know it's not the same as totally seeing people in person. But I want everyone to be safe. So I'm willing to be patient for sure. I don't want to be part of the problem. Yeah. Okay. So what are you all struggling with? I think I have my next 4 produced videos figured out, but I'm always in the market for more ideas for what you all want to learn. My video last week was on how I scout locations at a natural area. And then during that, I also recorded another video. I think I talked about it, about using my speed light on location at that natural area. So that's my video coming out this week. And I have a couple more videos in the works. But I want to know what you all want to know. Steve and I are cooking up a couple DIY things, and I know y'all love those. Many people come to this channel because they found my little table setup, and so we've been brainstorming how to improve that portable studio set. And I think we have some super amazing ideas. I can't even believe we can even make it simpler. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Frank, you did your new website, right? Yeah. If you want to type your website link in here, Frank, feel free to. Um, yeah. So Frank and I are cooking up at least two new DIY photography studio stuff. I don't know. So a refresh of that table concept, because that table was created like 6 years ago. And there's a couple things that I would do differently. And I want it to be anyway, so that's coming up. And I got rid of a bunch of the moving boxes in the garage. So now we have room to actually make these videos. And then, of course, the one that I teased out months ago about having a holder on my wagon. I have one of those wagons with the wood sides, and I drag all my stuff around the everywhere. And so I'm working on a way to attach a light, like a light stand, to my wagon. Yeah, I am very excited about that, because not only will it be right there and portable and easy, it'll also be more stable, because any tiny bit of wind catches those and whoosh, they just fly away, and you break them all the time. Or I do. I break my speed lights, I break my umbrellas and my light stands and my everything's. So I want a better way to use that on location. It only takes a small breeze. So Steve and I are crafting that, and we will be building that soon. We've gotten a couple pieces to try out and see if our little sketches will work. Patty, trying to start a pet photography business. How do I know if I'm ready, and how I know if I'm good enough? I'm not sure I got enough good photos for a portfolio. Okay. Patty, that's actually on my list of topics that I do want to talk about, because I think it's part of kind of the imposter syndrome a little bit, but I also think so. I think there's two sides, Patty. I think that there's a point where we don't realize how good we are, and we downplay our ability. To a side where we know that we have a bit of room to improve. So that, and you can't just like show your friends and family, but you can't also be too critical. Kind of where you're at too. And you don't need a lot to have a portfolio. Really, I mean, Frank just rebuilt his website, and he has pretty small portfolios on there right now, although I think he should have a few more. And I'm rebuilding my website, and I'm probably going to have maybe 20 for each category. You don't really need a lot, but what you need is repeatability. So, Patty, when I was starting my business, I wanted to know, I know, right? Lindsay Adler, you're never good enough. Like, it feels like it, doesn't it? I wanted to know that I can repeat that. So instead of having one unicorn photo, like, oh, I took this one photo and it was really good and nothing, and I've never taken a photo since. Like, sometimes that happens. People take the one awesome photo that they got by chance. But if you can recreate that in some way, like, you know exactly what setting to get to, what lighting, what location, how to make the dog kind of react the way you want. If you think you can repeat that on a consistent basis, then you're good to go. So, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to know everything. You don't. You can know how to light a cat on that table, or how to position a dog at 9 a.m. at your park. If you know how to repeat that, and that's what you're going to provide to your clients, then you're good to go. I think so. And then, just be honest with yourself that if someone asks you to do something that's outside of your skill set, you can say no, or you could try it. I've done both. I've said, I'm pretty sure I can figure that out, but you got to have that level of technical confidence. But you're always, always, always going to be anxious when you go on set. I've talked to big keynote speakers and other types of professions, and they're always nervous when they go out. And nerves, I think, are a good sign. Nerves mean that you care. And so Also, nerves can be excitement. So both that your body says gives the same signal between nerves and excitement. So Patty, I think if you say, this is what I want to offer, I want to offer, what's the most popular one? Dog natural light photography. Let's say you want to offer dog natural light photography and you're pretty confident, like you could take your dog out, go to this park, find the right light, get the pose, and get like 20 unique images to show your client, and you know that you could pretty much replicate that every single time, then you're good. You're ready to go. You really are. Um, yeah, YouTube will teach you all kinds of things. I really think, Patty, it's just that repeatability. And if in that, and you can start there and then you can build on and build on. And you're never going to know everything, which is the fun part of art, right? And you don't have to have everything figured out right away. So I think that's part of it. But if you really don't think you have enough for a portfolio, if you think you don't have 10 different looks that you want to show or models or something, then start building that. It's just as simple as that. For people photography, yeah, YouTube tutorials. For people photography, we have a really awesome camera club in town, and they have a portrait special interest group, and they get together, well, they were getting together once a month with models, and so we could all learn lighting and posing, and the models can learn all this too. So it was a great way to build a portfolio, is to be part of another group of people trying to build their portfolio. And many people start off in pet photography offering free portfolio building sessions. So that would be an amazing way, once you know it's safe to do so, obviously using your pets too. you know, although, my dog, I'm finding, doesn't always like to pose. So there's some restrictions there, right? And the other thing I would say, Patty, so repeatability and knowing most of the tech that you need to know, and then just saying you're a pro. That sounds very simple, but the moment you say, hi, my name is Patty and I'm a professional pet photographer. Wow. That I got goosebumps right now. That will give you so much power. You'll go, you know what? I am. That's right. That's what I'm doing. And then suddenly that will spur you to do all the other things that you need to do. Lots of your own dog, but seeing the one dog all the time might be boring and not show skill in other dogs. I do have some from shelter shoots. Yeah, shelter shoots are fine. Actually, and Patty, there's difficulty in shelter pet photography. So if you can get shelter pets to figure out what's happening, then you can get client dogs too, for sure. Yeah. So I have no trouble adding in shelter animals to my portfolio at all. They're still dogs. They're still dogs I photographed, or cats, or whatever. Chickens. I never get called to photograph chickens as a client, but Yay, yeah. So Patty, it's surprising how much that goes over once you kind of get over that. Okay, I think I know. What I usually tell people is, if you think you're 80% ready, then newsflash, you're 100% ready, because you're never going to feel like you're 100% ready. And that's how life works. So I'm Patty. I'm really excited for you. And I know that it sounds kind of boring to have all your dog, but if your dog will tolerate you trying different backdrops and different lighting scenarios and different crops and different sounds, then just do what you can. And then as we open up the country, then you'll be able to get more animals in your portfolio for sure. But I understand. Yeah, clients don't want to see all the same animal. Yeah, there are sometimes, Frank says there's dog parks open. Ours aren't open. Sometimes there's dogs there. Yeah. Or you could, what I've done too is I have paired up with Doggy Daycares. And so you might say you're going to have a portrait day at a doggy daycare for free. And so the clients don't necessarily have to be there. You can just be the photographer that hangs out for an hour while the dogs are playing. So if you have some, yours not, okay, but start thinking along those lines. How can you pair up with other people? I'm one of the founders of what's called the NoCo Pet Pack. And so we are organizing the different pet professionals in our area to come together. And so having those ties to other people is awesome. I know some trainers. So if you can hook up things to set up later, that would be something you can do too. I've even thought like we have our long lenses. If you photograph dogs, you might have a 70 to 200. So it might be something where you can do an add-on with your favorite trainer, and it could be a perk. Like next time they're out at that park and you're socially distancing and the trainer's doing their training at the end of the training, you can say, hey, listen, I'm doing free photos. And you could be a long ways away with a 70 to 200. You know what I mean? And you can grab some pictures of them in the shade at the park. And then boom, you have more pictures in your portfolio. So there's some ways maybe, but it might take a little bit of time. But I know you watched that first video I did about getting your website in order, getting logos figured out and colors, getting the legal parts taken care of. That's pretty complicated in itself. Sales tax licenses, if you plan on offering any physical goods, things like that. So that's so much. And I talked in that one about how I took a year to do that. Yeah, you have the 70 to 200. So definitely there's a lot to say, because once you're up and running, you'll wish you'd given yourself time to do the back end stuff. Yeah. Oh, with a model release. Yeah. I'm pretty bad about model releases unless there's people. When I do models, human model photography, I definitely get releases. And if I do anything for stock photography, I have to. But yeah, model releases could be good too, especially if you're going to use it on all of your materials, your marketing materials. Yeah. Oh, Patty, there's just so much. And there's a lot you could be doing right now. So try as much as you can to think about the things that you can do right now. And then have tier 2 of the things that you'll do when you can physically. Right now you're in the same position as everyone else. And so if you could be that step ahead, because some people aren't able to, or maybe like their life right now, they can't. And I don't know, maybe you're at this too, but if you're able to right now get all of that back end stuff, that paperwork done, when things do open up, you'll be ready to go more than other people. And I think it'll really be a new playing field for all businesses when everything completely opens back up. Let's blink and we're a year from now kind of a thing. So I think you're on the right track, Patty. You're trying, you're learning, you're putting some effort into it. So A for effort. I love it. You're doing great. You got contracts, model releases, still trying to figure out pricing to be competitive. Don't worry about being competitive. You need to worry about you taking care of your business. There's a high end that you can, if you know your community and, their lifestyle, then yeah, there's a point where you're going to be too expensive, but you can bump up against that ceiling and then you'll know. So I don't think you need to worry about what other businesses are charging as much. Just don't be too low, because it takes hours and hours and hours to do every session, and it's not worth it to do it for $20 an hour. It's not, because half of that's going back to self-employment taxes. So then you're making $10 an hour. Yeah, I can go back to managing veterinary practice for twice that, and they can take care of taxes. So don't undercut yourself. It doesn't matter what skill level you're at. If you're good, if you think you're good and you can repeat your process, then you are worth the dollars, because we're just using our phone out here otherwise. Right? Rah, rah, rah. I hope I'm not being too direct, Patty, or too negative. I mean this to be very cheerleaderish for you. Yay. Yeah, you understand? Okay. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it's been 24 minutes? What other questions do y'all have for me? William, you've been quiet. How are you doing with setting up your pet photography there in the PNW? Let's see. Frank, you're rolling along pretty darn good. You're doing great. You didn't type in your website. If you want people to check it out, you can type it in here. That's fine. I am in the middle of redoing mine. I'm making some videos for it. You've struggled with the pricing too. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in the middle of doing mine. And you know what? Here's the thing, Patty and William, your price list will evolve a lot. It's surprising. When I took that year to get all of my paperwork together, I thought, oh man, I'm going to dial this in. I've got spreadsheets. I've got my product list, this whole thing. And then after about 2 months, I'm like, well, I don't really like offering this and nobody's buying this. And so then I just took it off my price list. Or then I would find a new vendor and they would have different price structures and sizes. So I would redo my whole price list again. And you will struggle with your price list forever, really. And that's just all part of it. So that's okay too. Have a starting point, and just have super minimal. This is my Not everyone does this. This is my take. Have a minimal price list starting out. If you want to have a session fee, have 2 to 3 different kinds of prints. And if you want to offer digitals, make it super simple. As, who's that guy? Donald Miller says, you confuse, you lose. And I got to tell you this story too of this professional photographer I know. And she's been a pro for 30 years. She was commercial. She's done all kinds of things. And I went and visited her studio several years ago now. And she pulled open this drawer and it had all of her old price lists in it. And I mean, they weren't even that old. She held one up. She goes, yeah, this one's from my senior pricing. This was last week, but I've made a new one since then. I couldn't believe it. Here's this super well-known, very, this is like serious business. And she just was reinventing her price list all the time. So don't be too hard on yourself if you make a price list and you redo it within a couple of weeks of opening. It's okay. Most people don't share price lists with their friends. Like, oh, I went over here and I paid $90 for an 8x10, and I went over here and I paid $85. Like, nobody's doing that. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, I don't remember how much I paid for milk last week. And pet photography, they're going to do once a year, probably at the most, unless they're a puppy or a kitten or some kind of growth session. So they're not going to remember your pricing from one session to the next anyway. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into pricing. But seriously, start with, if I made this much on a session, would I feel like, oh my gosh, I should have just gone back to work at my other job? Or I don't get paid enough for this crap. If you're going to walk away like that, then it's not worth it. And you may just go back to being a hobby with it or not doing it, because you want to be able to make the money doing this, because that's a business. And I struggle with this constantly. But once you set your price, try it. It doesn't have to stay that price forever. Pick your three products you want to try and see what people want. If people are constantly saying, well, don't you have this product? Let's say like a 16x20 canvas, and everyone keeps asking for it, well, you might want to offer that. Or if you say, no, you know what? I only offer black and white fine art prints in a black gallery frame. That's what you're known for. Well, then stick with it. Yeah. Labor, material, overhead. Oh my gosh. Right, Frank? Yeah. Maybe I should do a video of all the, maybe not the exact numbers, but I have a lot of things that I pay for every month, whether a client walks in the door or not. So you have to be able to pay those expenses. And it's going to feel weird at first. It's going to feel weird, especially if you're mostly a volunteer photographer. Then you're kind of like, oh, now I'm going to charge you for this. But hey, you've put a lot of work into it. You've put a lot of talent into it, a lot of gear into it, a lot of heart into it. And so that's why they're hiring you. They want to pay you, right? Or else they wouldn't be hiring you. So, and then guess what? You own the business. If you get into a conversation and you say, okay, it's this much, and how would you like to pay for that? And they go, ooh, boy, that's more than I thought. Then you can have a conversation, because you own the business, and you can have a conversation and say, oh, because I always show the price list at the consultation, not at the sales meeting. They know my prices before we even get the camera out. So if we get to that point, I know that they just really want these extra pictures. And so at that point you can say, oh, well, I know you really want these. And how much is that out of your budget? $100? Okay. Why don't I either take $100 off or add or take away just one thing, or you could put it on your list for next month, or we'll make a payment plan. There's so many ways around that. Benchmark your local competition. What do you mean by that, William? Like have your local competition be a benchmark? I have conflicting feelings about that. I have no idea what my local competition's overhead is. I have no idea. So I don't know what their profit point is. For me, I rent a studio. So I have a profit point probably beyond someone who only goes on location, or maybe someone who has no lights they have to buy and worry about. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely give prices right away, because then you don't put all this effort into something that they really, maybe can't afford. Um, so, there's that too. Um, what else do I have to say? There's a lot to say about pricing. And there's a lot of other resources out there, of course. There's tons of resources on pricing. I think Hair of the Dog just recently did their pricing module for free. So that's Nicole. She's got a really big Facebook group, and she has lots of resources. And so I think that was one that she's done recently, but a lot of other people talk about pricing as well. But it trips us up, doesn't it, Patty and William? It really does trip us up, just like that phrase. Yeah, you did. Okay. So I would definitely check that out. I mean, if it's free, it's another, more information, that you could try. And you know what? There's so many ways of doing businesses, and there's not any right way or wrong way. You're going to see a lot of photographers saying you have to sell prints, you have to sell large wall art, you have to sell albums, you have to sell cards and canvases and blah. And maybe that's not what you want to do. And that's okay. Yeah. Maybe, oh, I'm going to be blasphemous here. Maybe you want to only sell digitals. There are plenty of photographers who stood on that platform at PPA and said, only prints forever, large, huge wall art forever. And guess what? They are now offering digital packages because they know what people want. So build your business how you want to, how people want it, and at a price that can sustain you. That's pretty much it, right? And guess what? My first sale, can I tell you, my first sale was for a high school senior in the other town, the other state that I lived in. This is a friend of mine. And we went out and did this high school senior session. I was so nervous. This was one of my very first, paid sessions that wasn't, like my kids' friends and stuff. And we did this really nice session of her son. And then she came over and we did the in-person sales meeting, and I had my little piece of paper to write down her order, and she got bunches of prints, and I made $250 was my sale. And I was over the moon. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God, she's really paying me $250. And I was happy. I felt like not only did that match the level of quality, which I thought, actually looking back, it was good quality. I know that, but I was offering, just basic prints, not mounted prints or canvas prints, anything fancy, just the floppy, as I call them, floppy prints. And it was somebody new that wasn't in my friends and family circle. So I was very happy for that sale. And so you'll all start somewhere. Now, later on down the line, I'm like, yeah, that probably wasn't enough. And you can raise your prices. So every time you change your price significantly, though, all of your marketing starts over, because you're marketing to a whole separate group of people. So keep that in mind. Oh my gosh, I can talk forever, and I've already talked for 34 minutes, everyone. Wowza. I'm so glad you were able to get on here and we could chit chat together. It's so great to see you all. I can see you. Patty and William and Frank. Who else we have here? I don't know. But anyone who watches on the replay too, thanks so much for showing up to the green room. I guess by popular demand, I shall return next Monday at 1:00 Mountain Time as well. Oh, and I should let you know, I think all of you here are on, I started this whole new email group. I don't remember the bit.ly link. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's in the description of this video. There's a bit.ly link that if you want to sign up for a whole separate email from me, then I'm going to be sending out the business end of stuff, the business and craft on that one. So my pack bulletin has all kinds of other things on it that are for like my clients and stuff like that. But this one for photographers is going to have more of this kind of content, and it's going to have some sneak peeks of content that's coming up. Also, bonus content for the videos I've already produced. I want to tell you a little bit more about those videos and give you some help there. Yeah. Okay, Patty, you have, and William, I think everybody here has, but anyone who's watching this on the replay, clickety click the link in the description, and you will be boop added into that new group for us super fancy pet photographers, pro or aspiring pro. You're all welcome. And I think I better get some water. I have been chit chatting for quite a while here, but I love having my community here on the live stream. And at some point, I'll have the community tab where I can put pictures and other posts here on YouTube. So be, on the lookout for that in a few months, however long it takes for my channel to grow to that. I'm considering an Instagram page. I'm not sure what else, but I want to be here to support y'all and answer questions, things like that. And yay! All right, seriously, I gotta go now. And you probably have to go. We have things to do, don't we? We have dogs to pet and water to drink and websites to build. All right, everyone. Okay. Oh, I have to do this the other way. Oh, I've rearranged my desk. Oh, my mouse is on the total wrong side. Okay, everyone. As always, I wish you many whoofs, purrs, and TREATSs. Bye, everyone. Bye. Great to see you. Bye.